Hare Krishna. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we are going to glorify um, the appearance and existence of Srimad Bhagavatam. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैवं नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोकैर्भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. So I seek the blessings of all Vaishnavas, devotees, so that I can speak something meaningful for the pleasure of my spiritual master, for the pleasure of our deities, Sri Nitai Gaurachandra, and other deities who are staying in our home, like Nitai Navadipa Chandra, Lakshmi Nrsingadev, Prahlad Nrsingadev. Thank you for providing this opportunity to speak on the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm not qualified to speak, and I I will make a honest try on this. So the thing that I'm going to make this very contemporary and to my understanding, to my capabilities. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is a spotless Purana. We heard many times from various senior devotees and spiritual masters. Srimad Bhagavatam is a spotless Purana or Amala Purana. Mala means contamination. Amala means without contamination, or in other words, absolutely pure. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is without any material contamination. It is full of spiritual potencies, and it glorifies the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why it is called as Amala Purana. And I would like to bring the attention of the adverbs that I hear frequently from my spiritual master, to the extent like submissively. Submissively is an adverb which means that submissive, yes, but it doesn't mean that you have, it means more towards the inquisitiveness. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that 4 types of people who will come to Krishna. And among one them is one who is inquisitive in nature. So the submissively portion says that yes, we have to be submissive, and more equally important is being inquisitive in nature, so that we can render service to the spiritual master and we learn this knowledge. So inquisitive, the preliminary faith that is there in every one, but it is in a conditioned, or it is in covered state, which has to be awakened. So, because of this preliminary faith, that's the reason we are all here in the Srimad Bhagavatam class, or somehow or other we get the opportunity to associate with the devotees, and the preliminary faith has to be nurtured. So, that preliminary faith can be nurtured only by the submissive and the inquisitive part. And once that is right, so the submissiveness and inquisitive part are established, through the mercy of the devotees, not through our own endeavors. Then the second adverb is attentively. So we started with submissively, and then the second adverb is attentively. Attentively is giving the greatest attention. Giving the greatest attention. So it's called as a rapt attention. We are in this material world where um, everything is subject to a lot of disturbance. We cannot give attention. Our memory span is very limited. Our lifespan is very limited in the Kali Yuga, and we are dull-headed. We need so many devices around us to keep us informed on all our daily activities, to be to stay organized. But in out of all these things, we have to overcome from selective attention to rapt attention, uh, one attention. So we have to give the attention to the Bhagavatam and the thing. So that is where, when the combination of submissiveness and submissiveness leading to inquisitiveness, and further leading to attentiveness, will give an opportunity to hear the glories of the Bhagavatam. And we have learned from our acharyas and our predecessors like Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara, the subject matter has to be listened, or has to be accepted, received through hearing mechanism. So it is based on Shabda Pramana. There are a lot of ways. In today's world, we need evidential or research which give you to clear the hypothesis and all those things. But the process of the spiritual process is descending, not by ascending. So in material world, we go everything from kindergarten to first grade to 12th grade, from like undergraduate, postgraduate, and then PhD. It's all about ascending process, and we depend on our own strength. Whereas in spiritual process, everything is coming to us by the mercy through the disciplic succession and by the process of hearing. So we don't rely on evidential learning. We rely based on the hearing process, Shabda Pramana. So Srimad Bhagavatam is Amala Purana. Srimad Bhagavatam is Shabda Pramana. So one, it is a spotless literature which has to be perceived through Shabda Pramana, the hearing process. So this is how we connect Srimad Bhagavatam by receiving to our knowledge. And we have learned that Bhagavad Gita is the um, important literature or the undergraduate study, and Srimad Bhagavatam is the postgraduate study. So why we say that is because Bhagavad Gita is more about the contextual models, frameworks, that it established that we are not this body, we are spirit soul, Aham Brahmasmi, and who we are, what is our relationship. It gives everything. So who we are, what is our relationship, who is the Supreme, how should we serve the Supreme, how should we listen, and how should we render service to the representatives of the Supreme, like the spiritual masters or the seniors. So it's all giving about the framework, the do's and don'ts. It's the how-to manual for the product human being. So every product that is available in the market has a how-to manual, the usage manual. Very sure many of us are not reading that, even if it is a digital form or a printed form, we ignore it. But Bhagavad Gita is the contextual framework or the model which gives the information how in the human life is which is very rare, and how to act responsibly, and how accountable are we towards thing, otherwise what is the consequences. All these things are given in the Bhagavad Gita, in the frame, as a framework for us to lead our life towards a spiritual path. Whereas Srimad Bhagavatam is more towards practical application. So from the conceptual model, Srimad Bhagavatam is the practical application. Vyasadeva has written glorifying the pastimes of the Supreme Lord so that his heart was satisfied based on the instruction of his spiritual master. And again, this is where the example of a descending mercy is coming, taking the order very seriously and executing it. And one, we are the descending mercy. Second, we are we are attempting to give rapt attention. And in the example of Srila Prabhupada coming to the Western world at the age of 70 and preaching based on the instruction of his spiritual master, and Vyasadeva based on the instruction of his spiritual master, Srila Narada Muni, and writing something about the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, is all giving the fact gratitude is the seed of love. Without the gratitude, there is no love, because it's not that the speakers are speaking it, it is the gratitude, and that gratitude is leading us to make us and come and sit in the Bhagavatam sessions and make us to give our ears so that it can be received. So the ears, we can ask like this, like with the two hands, and then we can ask like Bhavat Bhikshan Dehi, right? In Upakarmas, there is a process of asking by two hand, like just asking like this. And Srimad Bhagavatam, or the literature, the spiritual Harikatha, has to be asked not by hands, by opening our ears so that it gets inside without any filters, so that it goes into our heart and it can be purified. If you see how Krishna has given the mercy to his wonderful devotees like Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, he was taken as an instrument. He was taken as an instrument, and he was uh, he was he was perplexed, and he was put into that situation to be. That's the right word. Krishna put him into the situation of making him to be confused, or in the situation in the battlefield. He was confused on seeing his relatives are charging against him. And then he spoke the Bhagavad Gita. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam, the grandson of Arjuna, is Parikshit Maharaj. He was also like putting, it's a great, both are great devotees, but they were put into that situation so that in the middle of the forest, Parikshit Maharaj had a strong quest for thirst, and he went to the hermitage and he saw the rishi was meditating, and he put the dead snake around the neck of the rishi, and these are not the activities of the king. And then Parikshit Maharaj has never done anything like this, but delusion orchestrated by the Supreme Lord for the purpose of the transcendental Leela made him to do these activities. And one arises to Bhagavad Gita in the case of Arjuna. Secondly, the case of Parikshit Maharaj, it gave birth to Srimad Bhagavatam. So Krishna has persuaded and confused to enrich the Leela. It is not just the thing. It is for the appearance of Bhagavad Gita. It is for the appearance of Srimad Bhagavatam. These things are done. When they take, recently we had a great association with Srila Bhakti Vasudeva Swami Maharaj in Nepal, and we had learned a lot from him. He was saying that once when someone takes the character, they have to be the character. It is not that I'm not used to be like this. I cannot do this character. No. These great saintly people are taken as their characters and they were put into the role and they played this role to enrich the pastime. That is where the lesson has to be eating. And these great personalities, talking about the great personalities, and we are all living in this material world. The nature of the material world is very chaotic. Dukkalayam asashvatam. So, in this material world is not a safer place even for the great devotees like Arjuna, even for the great devotees like King Nirga, Parikshit Maharaj. Okay, this is not a, that's what the example is showing. Like they are all great devotees. This material world is problem only for us. No, it is not subject only for us. Even for great and saintly person, this material world is not a suitable place. That is where Krishna is demonstrating continuously in the Bhagavad Gita. If you see Prahlad Maharaj, wonderful devotee from birth. Even before he was delivered from his womb, he heard the pastimes of Krishna through Narada Muni. So, even for him, the material world created lot of problems, from his own father. What to speak of us. So what is it saying is ignorance is not an excuse in the laws of nature. So we cannot say that, oh, I don't know. That is not an excuse. So that doesn't work. Sometimes, like for something like in the material world, we can say that I was not aware. It is someone's mistake. I cannot take accountability. Sometime it works. But in the laws of nature, ignorance is not a bliss. It's not an excuse. There are consequences of being ignorant and not acting in the right path. That is the learning that we hear, and that's narrated like a padam yat vipadam. In every step there is always a danger, and how to handle the material world from this danger requires the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. Only from the great association directly from Srila Prabhupada and through his commentaries and the Acharya's commentaries on this subject matter gives us. So when we associate with the book Bhagavata and the personal Bhagavatas, we take values. We understand the great thing. So Parishit Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, he says that स्वास्थ्यस्तु विश्वासय कला प्रसिद्धितां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवमितोदिया मनश्च भद्रां भजतद अधोक्षजे अवेश्वतां नो मतिर अपि अहेतुकी. So he says that let everyone in this world be pacified because they are looking for something or other. That's a constant battle. Let everyone be in this world be pacified. Once they are pacified, let them all engage in devotional service. So when by doing devotional service, we will be contented and pacified. So he is asking Lord Nrsingadev, let everyone be pacified and engage in devotional service so that everyone can render devotional service properly and free from the calamities of the material nature, free from the clutches of the material nature. So devotional service is the key, and the great devotee Prahlad Maharaj is praying in Srimad Bhagavatam for the Prahlad Maharaj prayers, and he is talking about their need for the devotional service which leads to contentment. So we need to be contented with what we have and what is available, and we are also aware from the Isha Upanishad about our quota system. Like everyone has our quota, and we have to be on that, and we have to execute devotional service throughout our life. As we said earlier, the human life is very rare, and the purpose of the human life is to execute devotional service. So that is why we will be getting peace, and we will be in a position to lead a meaningful life in the to handle this devotional life, to handle the material life. The balance between the devotional life and the material life is the key. Like everything has a purpose, and the time is ticking. There is no way to pass the time. A last minute cannot be repurchased by millions of dollars. So the proper utilization of devotional service at the maximum is the key, and we learn that from Srimad Bhagavatam and by the association of devotees. So how we accomplish that is through taking shelter of the spiritual masters, and spiritual masters, the guru instructions are packaged. Guru's instructions are encapsulated with empowerment. We cannot do on our own. Like, okay, I got a copy of Bhagavad Gita, I got a set of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is wonderful. That's a kickstart. We should take the shelter. Guru Padashraya is very important. So we should take the shelter of Guru, and the Guru, by constant association, will give instructions. And the instructions are not just ordinary words. The instructions are, every instruction is encapsulated or packaged with empowerment. Once you get an instructions, we get knowledge, we get strength, we get intelligence, we get discriminatory power, and we will be in a position to act based on the instructions received from the spiritual masters. So thank you very much. I will stop here. I don't see anyone in the class, but thank you for providing an opportunity to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. And I learned a lot from your association. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.